Published 0523 EDT, the 18th of August 2017. Updated 0634 EDT, the 18th of August 2017. North Wiltshire MP James Gray accused the force of wasting money and resources on the probe into Sir Edward Heath pictured. Even though it can never be brought before a court, a probe into allegations of historical sex offences by former Prime Minister Edward Heath was branded an idiotic waste of public money. Mike Veal, Chief Constable at Wiltshire Police, said yesterday that the £2 million investigation is to end as coming weeks. The probe into Sir Edward, Operation Conifer, was launched in August 2015 after the former Prime Minister was named as a suspect into historical allegations of child abuse. However, the MP for North Wiltshire, James Gray, said Wiltshire Police's probe had been a pretty pointless investigation. Mr. Gray has accused the force of wasting money and resources on a case that could never be brought to court. He's dead, for goodness sake, and the case against him seems pretty flimsy to say the least, said the MP, writing for his local paper, the Wiltshire Gazette. They'll be looking into Jack the Ripper or Henry VIII, who had a nasty habit of chopping off his wives' heads next. Wiltshire MP James Gray said, I have made my views known in very plain terms to the Chief Constable, and I hope that he will take steps to wrap up this idiotic waste of public money with no further delays. Mike Veal, Chief Constable at Wiltshire Police Left, said yesterday that the £2 million investigation is to end as coming weeks. Lord Armstrong Wright, who was the former Prime Minister's principal private secretary, said the Chief Constable will come under increased pressure to stand down on the publication of the summary findings. What a waste of time. I have made my views known in very plain terms to the Chief Constable, and I hope that he will take steps to wrap up this idiotic waste of public money with no further delays. It comes after the Independent Police Complaints Commission (IPCC) launched a probe into alleged historical corruption after information from a retired officer raised concerns that Wiltshire Police deliberately caused a criminal prosecution to fail in 1994. The IPCC's probe concluded in May last year and found no evidence that a prosecution had not been pursued because a defendant threatened to publicly allege that Sir Edward Heath had been involved in sexual offences involving young men. Sir Edward, who led the Conservative government between 1970 and 1974, died at home in Salisbury in July 2005, aged 89. In April, the force said 2 people who had been arrested in connection with child protection issues had been released without charge. Last year, the probe found no evidence that a prosecution against a brothel keeper was dropped because of threats to allege publicly that Sir Edward had been involved in sexual offences. Sir Edward, who led the Conservative government between 1970 and 1974, died at home in Salisbury in July 2005, aged 89. In December, the Chief Constable of Wiltshire Police, Mike Veal, wrote a public letter to set the record straight about the investigation. He described the former Conservative Prime Minister as an extremely prominent, influential and high-profile person and said the decision to undertake the incredibly complex and challenging investigation was not taken lightly. Mr. Veal said the probe was complex and multi-stranded and was not a fishing trip or witch hunt. Edward Heath's principal private secretary when he was Prime Minister, Lord Armstrong of Ilminster, said he expects the force as Chief Constable to come under increased pressure to stand down on the publication of the summary findings. I think Mr. Veal will be subject to a great deal of criticism if this investigation proves to be a dead duck. It is for him and his crime commissioner to decide whether he goes or stays. He will be under great pressure to resign, Lord Armstrong told The Telegraph. Lord Armstrong, who believes that Heath is innocent, also expressed deep concern that the summary produced by the police force would constitute a whitewash of the force's actions. He added that there could be enormous pressure for a follow-up inquiry should the summary prove inadequate. Lord Armstrong, who believes that Heath is innocent, also expressed deep concern that the summary produced by the police force would constitute a whitewash of the force's actions. Former Prime Minister Edward Heath is pictured with disgraced DJ Jimmy Savile as they rehearse for an episode of Jim'll Fix It. A Wiltshire police spokesman said Operation Conifer has now entered its final stages and is expected to come to an end in the autumn, assuming no further information comes to light that would change that position. From the outset, Wiltshire Police has been clear that at the end of the investigation, a summary report will be placed into the public domain to ensure transparency, accountability and openness. The report will be published in line with national guidance. Until such time as the report is published, the investigation remains live and Wiltshire Police will not be commenting further on any investigative detail. Sir Heath's godson, Lincoln Seligman, said it is vital the police's lengthy and expensive investigation are published in full.